Imagine stepping into a luxurious hotel, expecting nothing but respect and comfort, only to be humiliated and thrown out simply because of the color of your skin. That's exactly what happened to Marcus, a wealthy, self-made black entrepreneur who had spent years building his empire. Marcus had booked the finest suite for a business trip, but instead of a warm welcome, he was met with cold stares and dismissive words from the hotel staff. They refused to believe someone like him could afford to stay there. Hurt but undeterred, Marcus walked away, silently vowing to return. Years later, he stands in the same hotel lobby. But this time, things are different. He's not here as a guest. He's the new owner. How did Marcus turn his humiliation into triumph? And what happened when he faced the very people who once pushed him out? Let's dive into this powerful story. Marcus didn't get to this moment overnight. Born and raised in a modest neighborhood, he grew up watching his parents work tirelessly just to make ends meet. They taught him the value of hard work and integrity, lessons he carried with him as he navigated the challenges of building his business. Despite his success, Marcus knew that society often judged him by his appearance rather than his accomplishments. The day he was thrown out of the hotel was a turning point. He could have lashed out or let the experience break him, but instead, he used it as fuel. Marcus dived deeper into his work, expanding his investments and learning everything he could about the hospitality industry. Slowly, he built connections and grew his portfolio until one day, the opportunity presented itself, a chance to buy the very hotel that once rejected him. But what would he do next? As Marcus walked through the hotel lobby as its new owner, memories of that humiliating day came rushing back. The same front desk, the same elegant chandeliers, the same cold stares, except now the roles were reversed. He wondered if the staff who mistreated him were still there. Would they recognize him? Did they even care? Marcus wasn't looking for revenge, but the thought of confronting those who had judged him sparked a mix of anticipation and unease. Behind the scenes, the hotel wasn't in great shape. Poor management and outdated practices had left its reputation tarnished. Marcus knew taking over wouldn't be easy. Some employees were resistant to change, viewing him as an outsider disrupting their way of doing things. Others whispered rumors, questioning his intentions. Meanwhile, Marcus faced another challenge, his own inner conflict. Could he lead with grace, or would the scars of the past cloud his judgment? Marcus held a meeting with the hotel staff on his first day, standing in the same room where years ago he was told he didn't belong. The employees looked at him with mixed emotions, some curious, others skeptical. As he introduced himself, his voice was steady, but inside, his heart raced. He scanned the room, wondering if any of these faces belonged to the people who had humiliated him. One staff member in particular caught his attention, a middle-aged manager with sharp features and a stiff demeanor. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that he'd seen him before. As the meeting ended, the man approached him, his smile tight and forced. "Welcome to the team," he said, but his eyes carried something else, unease, maybe recognition. Later, Marcus began reviewing old staff records and guest complaints, piecing together the hotel's troubled history. What he found raised more questions than answers. Someone had been covering up incidents of discrimination for years. It wasn't just his story, it was a pattern. Marcus realized that the very culture of the hotel needed to change, but confronting the truth might expose more than he bargained for. The tension thickened as Marcus prepared to confront the past head-on, not knowing what he might uncover. As Marcus dug deeper into the hotel's history, he stumbled upon something that stopped him cold. In an old incident report buried deep in the archives, he found a description that matched the day he was thrown out. a complaint filed anonymously by a guest who witnessed the entire event. The report detailed how Marcus had been escorted out, humiliated in front of other patrons, and how the manager on duty had dismissed the complaint as unsubstantiated. His hands tightened around the paper as he read the name of the manager, the same man who had welcomed him with a forced smile just hours earlier. But that wasn't all. There were other reports, similar stories of guests mistreated for no reason other than prejudice. And worse, there were whispers of bribes taken to suppress bad publicity. Marcus realized the problem wasn't just outdated policies. It was deliberate corruption that went straight to the top. Determined to get answers, Marcus decided to confront the manager directly. But before he could, a call came from his assistant. Someone had leaked his plans to overhaul the hotel, and a group of senior employees was already plotting to resist him. The betrayal stung, but Marcus knew he couldn't back down now. The question was no longer whether he could change the hotel. It was whether he could survive the storm he'd just unleashed. Marcus called an emergency meeting, inviting all staff members, including the senior employees who had been plotting against him. The tension in the room was palpable as he stood at the front, holding the stack of reports he'd uncovered. His voice was steady but firm as he revealed the truth: years of misconduct, discrimination, and corruption that had poisoned the hotel's reputation. The room fell silent when Marcus turned to the manager who had thrown him out years ago. "You might not remember me," Marcus began, locking eyes with him, "but I remember you." The manager's face paled as Marcus recounted the incident, his tone calm but filled with resolve. Then came the twist. Marcus revealed that, in his investigation, he'd found not only evidence of wrongdoing, but also the financial losses caused by these actions. The board of directors had already reviewed his findings and approved sweeping changes, including the termination of those involved in unethical practices. As the staff began to process what had just happened, the manager stood up, trying to defend himself, but Marcus stopped him. "This isn't about revenge," he said, his voice rising above the murmurs. "It's about making this hotel a place where everyone feels welcome." But just when it seemed the conflict was resolved, an unexpected twist emerged. A junior staff member stepped forward with new information, a hidden document implicating someone on Marcus's own team in the cover-ups. The realization hit hard. Marcus wasn't just fighting the old system. There were hidden enemies even closer than he thought. Determined to rebuild from the ground up, Marcus vowed to root out every trace of corruption, no matter how deep it went. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. The days that followed were anything but easy for Marcus. He had to make tough decisions, letting go of those who had contributed to the hotel's toxic culture, while empowering employees who were ready to embrace change. The junior staff member's revelation about someone on Marcus's team had shaken him, but it also reminded him of the importance of vigilance and trust. In time, the hotel began to transform. New training programs focused on diversity and inclusion, and Marcus worked tirelessly to rebuild its reputation. Slowly, guests returned, and the staff began to take pride in their work. The once hostile atmosphere gave way to one of respect and unity. Standing in the lobby one evening, Marcus looked around and felt a quiet sense of triumph. He hadn't just bought a hotel. He'd reclaimed his dignity and created a space where everyone was treated with the respect they deserved. The journey had come full circle.